Hey guys, it is Chad here from the Battle Warrior Podcast, and I'm just letting all you listeners know that the Battle Warrior Podcast episodes will be available across all podcast platforms, guys. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this brand new episode today. All right, guys, this is how we do a podcast with pre-recording with barely little notes. Hey, guys, welcome to Battle Warrior Podcast. This is Chad. Like I said, like I explained to our guest, Ashley, but we are recording this podcast episode. I'm down to final few weeks, not to cancel the show. We ain't doing that here, guys, but I'm going to take a little mini sabbatical, kind of get my mind straight as what, I posted today on Facebook with the old Marshawn Lynch thing, take care of your chickens, take care of your mentals, kind of that talk back in the day that people played football with and understood. But this podcast is going to be special because we've been trying to get you on the show for what, 4 months, 5 months, somewhere in there.
Yep.
November, somewhere in there.
Been a while.
And the cool thing about this is a local Wisconsin guest that is struggling just like myself, or not say struggling, but going through, fighting, climbing uphill. In this industry, or vice versa, in many industries, we have these little mastermind groups, and she is part of the one that I was part of in the past, but I'm going to return. We'll make a story short here, but through friends of a friends, she came and spoke at one of the events here locally near the town I live in, and everyone loved it. So I'm like, I need to bring you on the show, and enjoyed it. But this one is going to be a multi-layered episode, but it goes back to multiple things. So obviously, battling depression, anxiety. We're going to be talking about how you overcame that. I want to talk about your multiple businesses, what you have, but your holistic business. And then I was going to say I don't know which one's your baby, but they're kind of both are your babies, but you're also your real estate background here. So.
Yep. Great.
But hey guys, yeah, like I said, this is Ashley Lang. She's out of Wausau. So all you out-of-staters here, we're going to pronounce it correctly. Wausau, not Woosau. But I was going to say, welcome to the podcast. We're just going to carry on and have a lovely conversation here. But I would say, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad we could finally get on here.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, as I say, it seems like forever ago that we were trying to schedule this, and now we're finally here. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and it's life. I was going to say I reached out, November? When were you here in Appleton?
January.
So that's 5 months. No, it's 3 months, 4 months. I don't know. I'm losing track here. This year's been going fast.
Yep.
But let's crack into your backstory, because obviously it's a lot like mine, where it kind of stacked up to where you're at now. So let's start at the beginning and then just kind of slowly work our way up a hill here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess my story really starts about 8.5, 9 years ago. We had just had our son Corbin, and I was a new mom, and everything was just kind of hitting the fan. We had tons of health issues. I suffered tremendously from suicidal depression. I had hypothyroidism. I was overweight, tons of anxiety, just all the things. And Buck had some issues too. He had, back issues and addiction, really bad addiction issues. He's definitely alcoholic, and just all the things going wrong, right? And here we are sitting with a brand new baby, and just had all this stuff going on. We were not in a good place financially. At the time, we were on state assistance and food stamps and things that, to help us with paying for food and such, but we just were not in a good place financially either. So I would say that just life in general at that point in my life was just not good. Right. I remember sitting and just thinking to myself, like, what is this life? Like, what is even going on? Why is this happening to me? Kind of a little bit of victim mentality, which I understand now, but I didn't understand it, right? Like, I didn't understand why we had to be going through all of that, right? And so It was just a not good place. And my Western medicine doctor just, I would go and I was like, hey, I don't want to be on these medications anymore. What can we do? Can you do a hormone panel? Can you test this? Can you test that? Like I was asking all these questions, which you should do, right? And their only response was, all I can do for you is more medications, right? Let's try this medication, right? Let's up the dose here.
Yep.
Let's try this. If this one's not working, let's switch you over to this one. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, really? Like, is this the rest of my life? Like, I don't understand, like, what's going on here. And so there was a time I remember like just thinking like, gosh, is this how the rest of my life is really going to be? Right. And when you're in that state, like everything around you is like a blur, right? You don't even see anything around you. All you see is like what is going on right there in your brain. And like all you can see is all the bad things, right?
Yep.
You can't see past the whatever it is. Like you can't see it. It's all right there and it's terrible. And so I remember thinking, I'm like, if I have to live the rest of my life like this, like who wants to do that? Like, I don't want to do that. Right? This is terrible. Like, who wants to feel like this every day? Who wants to take all these medications, which make me feel like more crap every day? Right? Like, who wants to do that? And so I was just like, okay, like I could either be done, right, with this life and just not have to worry about it, right? And not have to feel the pain and not have to feel the emotion every day of like just feeling like basically a pile of poo, right? Like I don't want to like move on is basically where I was at. And so it was a deep, dark place, man. Holy crap. It was bad. I mean, obviously I'm here today, so I made it through, but there were times where I wasn't sure that I was going to be there the next day. Like I was pretty confident that that was the day that it was going to happen and I wasn't going to be there. And everything was going to be fine because I'd be at peace then, right? And I didn't have to hurt anymore. So to be there, it was just, it was hard, but somehow, and I'm not even sure where the strength came from, to be honest, I decided that I needed to start looking for answers other than my doctor's office, right? Because I was trying so hard to get the answers I needed from there. And so I started just like basically researching. I just said, hey, I'm going to go out and just use Google and use the internet and just use all the things that I could to try and figure out answers. And it took me a while, but we stumbled upon, because I would research depression and anxiety and things, and we stumbled upon something called holistic health, okay, which is basically you're just approaching things from the foundation level, right? Like the cause level, not like you need a pill to cover something up or whatever else. It's literally like what's causing your problems, right? And your health. And so I found a couple articles on it and I kept reading and I'm like, man, this is something else. Like I had never honestly, we were raised in Western medicine. We were raised, go to your doctor's appointments, get to your well visits, do all the things, your yearly checkups, all the stuff. And like, I was never exposed to anything like that, which is sad, to be honest, but that's a whole nother level. But, I had never been exposed or even understood any of this stuff before. And so I'm reading and like, at first I was like, man, this is like too good to be true, because I was reading stories of people who have overcame things like depression and anxiety and autoimmune diseases and heart disease and cancers and things like that. Like I was reading all these stories and I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, could this happen to me? Right. And so we learned many ways of how we can start transitioning our lifestyle. There wasn't ever just one thing that I did that changed everything for me, but it was little ways to start changing your lifestyle, right? to be and live more healthier, right? And so I'm like, okay, what more do I have to lose, right? Like I'm sitting here thinking I'm not going to be here tomorrow, right? So I'm like, okay, I mean, why not try it? And so we did. And I implemented this, and I'm the kind of person where like if I'm going to do something, like I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to do it, right? If I like put my mind to it. And so I was like, all right, we're all doing this. So my entire family, like my baby, my boyfriend at the time, we all decided that we were going to start making these changes, and we did. We incorporated a lot of changes. Actually, there was quite a few, but within about, I would say, 3 to 4 months of time, I was off all of my medications, literally off all of them. Like I don't even know. Like sometimes I get speechless because I'm like, how does that even happen? How do you go from your lowest point ever in your entire life in 3 to 4 months? I mean, I wasn't completely great in 3 to 4 months, but I was off my medications, which was a huge thing for me, right? And how do you go? How does that happen? Like, and it was just crazy. And now looking back, I'm even more like just in awe of how I was able to do that, and how just by simply changing my lifestyle, I was able to do that. And now I understand why why all that happened to me, you know, because I've been, ever since then, I've done nothing but research health, and I'm obsessed with it. I read more studies and articles and books and than you can possibly can think of on health, because I'm obsessed with it. So now I know what, I understand what happened, right? I was having a void. There was nutrition deficiencies. My brain was bogged down with fluoride from the water I was drinking. I didn't work out. I was eating all the wrong foods, terrible eating, dairy, conventional dairy, gluten, all the bad things, right? I wasn't taking supplements. There was just a lot that I wasn't doing, and I was just chemically imbalanced. That's it. That's all that was going on, you know? And I literally just had to detox and clear the chemicals and fix the imbalances, and everything was great again. And I'm actually better now than I was even before all that happened, which is crazy to me. I have more energy. If you can't tell, I have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
I have more energy. My
Usually
brain,
I can run with you, but right
yeah,
lately it's
sorry.
been down. But
Yeah, that's okay. No, I have more energy. My brain is like clear. I have so much motivation. I like have purpose,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Purpose. Like I just understand, like now I know my purpose in life, and I know where I'm going. And before even all that happened, when I was, you know, mostly healthy for the, you know, for the most part, I wasn't like that even. So it's just crazy how I was able to do that. And it was, to me, it wasn't hard. Like it wasn't hard. I mean, yes, it took some me creating some habits and like just, you know, determination on like, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this today. And I'm going to, you know what I mean? But like, it wasn't hard. Like anybody can really do it. And if I could do it of where I was, like anybody can do it.
Well,
So
there's three things we're leaning on here, but I want to answer one thing, but I want to bring back the obsession and discipline in the back end here. So every time, and obviously you know my journey too. I think I'm 2 months. When did I quit my happy meds? Let's say February 1st. So I'm 2 months into it, pretty much in that run. And with my hyperness, because I'm pretty much wired the same way. Um, there's approach I'm going to look at this. So like obviously I went through divorce a long time ago. I overcame addiction. So like my mind's already pre-prepped to overcome this, because I'm like, hey, the last couple months of it, a lot of head fog, a lot of anxiety. I'm like, okay, something's not right. Like I need to get off. Like the good Lord saying, dude, you're done. Like get off this thing. So now my mind's like, okay, it's okay to be down, but it's okay to be up. It's just kind of like I'm looking at like the learning phase here. It's like my body's kind of detoxing everything going through here. But the number one thing is when you go in to get happy meds, and I'm gonna say Wellbutrin or bupropion or Zoloft, or we can go down the whole freaking list of them. But everyone's like the chemical imbalance. That's the number one thing that they talk about. And I'm like, wait a minute, I gotta tap into that. Explain deeper into that, because to me like my chemical imbalance is like, okay, something's off.
Yep.
But I need to work out more. I need to get more fresh air. I need to take some more BS off my shoulders. We'll just say it that way. Like
Yep.
it's just, how did you naturally do that besides exercising?
Yeah. So honestly, at the time that was all happening, like I honestly didn't know a lot about what I was even doing. But now I obviously know like what was happening. But there are many factors. That's kind of a loaded question because there's many factors that go into how somebody could be chemically imbalanced, right? Or something could be off. Um, One is toxin overload. So if you are, think of it as like a cup, right? If you have your body as the cup and you keep pouring into the cup, right? If you don't pour out of the cup, right? If you meaning detox, your cup's just going to keep filling and filling and filling and filling, right? So if your body's not able to detox the toxins that you're putting in, and you literally can't go anywhere without there being toxins, right? There's toxins everywhere in our world today.
Yep.
So if you can't detox the toxins correctly and you're putting too many toxins in, right? You're going to become unbalanced, right? There's just things that are going to happen, things are going to build up, and that's going to cause other parts of the body to not function properly. Okay. So that's one way. So if you've got overload of toxins, if you are overstressed, that's another way it can cause adrenal fatigue. You can have all this stuff go on with your adrenals. Well, if you know what your adrenals do, your adrenals drain the toxins, right? They clean your body, right?
Yep.
So if you've got stress and you've got all the toxins coming in, you're going to have problems, right? The other problem is hormones. Hormones, man, holy crap. We have so much crap going on in our society today with medications and shitty food and whatever else. Everybody's hormones are so out of whack. It's not even funny.
Yep.
That's going to cause some major issues in your body. And mental, anything mental is that's going to be a first reaction, right? There's going to be just imbalances. And so if you have all of these things going on, there's going to be some problems. There just is.
Yeah, and that brought up another question because, and I don't know on the female side of it, but I know on the guy side of it, I hit 37, but there's a lot of people in my circle now that are looking into like the TRTs, the kind of the gene, what is it? Testosterone paste replacement therapy. I don't know what was the deal, but we're supplementing like a low dose supplement of
Yep.
testosterone.
Yep.
And the guys that are on are like, absolutely, we would love it. Like hands down, it's the best thing that ever happened. So, I don't know if you do that or not, but like as a male side of it, I do know that the crash is what they call it, where it's like you're hitting not a certain age, but just so much life's happening that all of a sudden it just like it drops way down. So, as a female side of it, are you seeing a lot of that too?
Oh yeah. I mean, well, guys are a little different than women. Guys are having issues today because their testosterone levels are so low, right? They're not producing testosterone. Your bodies just aren't producing testosterone correctly. And so that will throw a lot off for you as a man. Like it will throw a ton of stuff off. And so you have to figure out how to get your body to produce the testosterone again. And in order to do that, all of the other functions need to be working. Like they need to be working. So if you have toxins coming in, right? It's going to throw off the system so that you're not going to be able to do that. And so it's really important. And it's actually scary what they're predicting that men's testosterone levels are going to be at in the next 20 years. It's actually really, really scary. So I would definitely, that's something to focus on as a man is to get your testosterone levels up. And there's ways holistically without taking a replacement, like a synthetic replacement, right? Without taking that to help your body produce the testosterone. Now there are other ways that you can do hormone replacements and things that are more natural. Like I take a natural hormone replacement to help me. So there are other options. So I'd recommend definitely seeing a practitioner, a holistic practitioner of some sort, and do a hormone panel and figure that out. But there are ways that you can do it naturally.
Well, and in the thing that you're talking about with the guys and females, I'm not the tin hat person, but I know that's on purpose.
100%.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop this in here without getting too political here, guys. The government hates us. They just want their taxes. That's it. That's as far as I'm gonna go on that.
Yeah. Oh man, I could talk about that for
Yeah, we're just gonna yeah, me and you can have a couple hour conversation on that
Yeah.
one because there's
Yeah.
a different topic that got dropped in my lap right before we came on to record too that I know the outcome of that one's gonna happen. But in
Yeah.
general,
Yeah.
so now let's get back to the normal part of it. There's two main key ideas that you did that and honestly it probably ties back to how you were before getting into this because what I know is especially becoming a recovered addict, like we get obsessed about something. If
Yep.
we love it, like we're all in. It's to a detriment. It also kind of knits us at times because when you go all in, kind of have to like back it up a little bit and kind of we just learned the hard way. But in general, you got so obsessed with it and your purpose came from the obsession.
Yep.
Obviously the hockey stick happened, the hockey stick growth. Was it just 24/7 nonstop research, or was it just, hey, this is the path, I already know it, like clear, like burn is what my buddy would say, burn the boats and all, like let's go.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say the thing that kind of really pushed me so much, I think, was the fact that how I felt just a short amount of time. Like I was so like I couldn't believe how good I felt after just doing these. I say simple. I mean, there's a lot of things I did, but just doing these simple things. Like I couldn't believe it. And my fire literally came from like just I want to feel like this more, right? I want to if I can feel like this, can I feel better? Even better than that? And so that's really kind of where it came from. And then the other part was just like, okay, I've always been a natural, like wanting giver. I want to help people. Like, I don't know where that came from, but ever since I was a little girl, I've always just loved helping people. Right. And so being how I was in my state of just terribleness, right? I felt like crap. And then here I am. I feel great. So if I can do this, I need to learn everything I possibly can of how and why this happened to me. And so that I can share this with people that are that were in my same situation, right? Because maybe somebody could hear me talk and be like, oh, maybe I could try that, right? Maybe I should look into holistic health. Maybe I should have a lifestyle change. Maybe I should do that. And maybe then I'll wake up tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, if I can inspire like one person, that like is awesome to me. And so that's really what drove me to like just research. And at the time I had, we both had full-time jobs and things that we were doing. So it wasn't like 24/7, but every chance I got, I was listening to a podcast, and then I was reading a book. I was reading actual studies on the holistic health side. And I wanted to learn and consume as to a different way than we've been conditioned to believe and understand. Okay. I was conditioned. I told you I was the person, the Western medicine, doctor visits, whatever. And I'm learning this whole new way now. And that intrigued me so much. Like I was like, God, this is awesome. Like, this is great. This is something different. And I love that. Right. And so that's really what drove me. So.
Yeah. And I want to say because the, I'm losing my voice here for 2 seconds here. Because of that drive and that change and the perspective change, obviously, there's a few other things that came with the hookup. We'll just say it that way. Now, since I'm just going to bring this up because, a lot of people like Sean, a lot of people don't, but like lion's not sheep here. But he said straight out, you get so damn good at what you do, the other stuff after comes.
Yep.
Like the other stuff follows. And I don't want to say other stuff as the highlight, but he's just talking about being so obsessed with the company that you have. Obviously, you're obsessed with the company you have. You love what you do. You help people, all that stuff here. What kind of got you into the other branch of your lateral?
So you're talking real estate?
Yeah.
Yeah. So So naturally, when you're a podcast listener, like you understand,
Yep.
you can get down the rabbit hole of podcasts, right? Because like when you when you talk to a
Yeah.
podcast,
Yeah.
listen to a podcast, they're always interviewing other people who probably have podcasts, right? Or
Yep.
something of that nature. And so I was listening to health podcasts, but then I would come across people that I would hear that own their own businesses and the entrepreneur stuff, right? And so I really kind of dove down that little hole, and I managed to find my way to Bigger Pockets, of course, which Bigger Pockets, you know, is what it is, but it did start a lot for me because at the time, I think I started listening at podcast, I want to say 52. And I think they're on like 300 and something now, but that's literally when I started listening to it. And I just started like listening and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, this is easy. I'm like, all these people are doing the things, right? I know how to do the things. Obviously, I can do all the things I want to do, right? And so I was like, I can do this. And so I talked Buck into, I was like, hey, we need to buy a duplex and live in one side and rent the other side out, right? House hack. And
Yep.
so
Yep.
that's literally what we did. We found a duplex and we moved in. We went from renting and moved into a duplex, lived in one side and rented the other side out. And that was our journey that started in 2017. So
Yeah. And now I would say you're speaking locally. I don't know.
yeah,
I think on a national, did you speak in Mexico too?
I didn't, but I am. They actually asked me to speak next year.
Okay.
So
So sorry,
yeah,
let's rephrase that. Global level. You're
yeah,
at a
right.
global level.
Yep.
But the cool thing, the cool, wow. Wow, that's the first time that happened in a while. But the
That's all
cool
right.
thing about it is there's one thing that we both get it because we both been in the same room, not say the same, but like a few of the same rooms.
Yep.
And I emphasized it right away at the beginning. It's like the thing that people don't realize, especially in this regular everyday lifestyle, and I'm gonna say like the blue collar, like 9 to 5 stuff. Um, there's rooms out there that you don't know about until you get in it. You're like, crap, I got to be in this
Mm-hmm.
because it's just so much knowledge that people are willing to help and all this stuff. And we're talking about like our local RIA chapters that we're in, but I'm not a real estate person as we speak right now with properties, but I was in it for insurance purposes back in the day. But no matter what, out of that, there's a couple things that you say. It's a very low fee month, like very low fee monthly cost.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get in it, it's a huge family.
Yep.
And you have this person that is working their way to quit their job. You have this person that is in a hoodie, cut up jeans, just got off of their property, and they're coming in there and they own like 50 freaking properties.
Mm-hmm.
And the number one thing that they tell you straight out is get in the room, like pay the money, get in the rooms first and foremost, and secondly, how can I help you?
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the RIA was something that okay, so when we first started, and this, I want to tell everybody that you get into those groups. When we first started, we were like closet investors. I call myself closet investor. Like we didn't talk to anybody. We didn't go to events. We didn't hire coaches. We didn't join masterminds. Like we didn't do all the things, right? And I think we had bought 3 properties in those 2 years because we didn't do those things, right? And as soon as we did that, we joined the local RIA. We went to some national events. We're in currently 2 masterminds. We both have coaches. Like we did all the things and I added like 25 properties in a year. Okay. So your net worth is your network, right? You got to go out and talk to people. You've got to go out and meet people, hire the coaches, get in the masterminds, go to the events. Like it's so worth it. Like honestly, my connections and my ability to get new properties and get leads and things all comes from my network of people that I've created. And so that is one thing that I wish that would have done right away, but it's okay. We're doing it now.
Well, and the cool thing that, we're going to tap into the rich dad, poor dad, everything, obviously real estate's been around forever, like ages and ages and ages, but the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad opened it up straight out. But like, and you probably know where I'm going with this here, but everyone's so used to do, learn, define.
Mhm.
And this one is actually, so the difference between, I don't say, Eric, here's my, ET moment, left side, in general, but like the difference between where you're at now and where you're going, especially if you went all in and risked everything and maxed out everything, it's defining where you want to go and learning from the people that have it and do it.
Yep.
I'm going to say right now, like, I'm going to be brutally honest. I got kicked in the face and kicked in the nuts many times because I can't get on my own ego at times.
Mhm.
And now, especially restarting, whatever it is, now it's like, okay, there's people in my circle. Let's say, okay, hey man, I got this. I'm gonna use Heat Press for example. The one that owns an apparel brand, he's like, dude, that's awesome. Keep going. Let me know if you need anything. This is what I'm talking about here, guys. Like, he's already there.
Mhm.
And people are willing to help you to get you up to that level. And
Yeah.
and the level jumping is what we call it, or level, stairway, it doesn't end.
Yep. People that are at levels that maybe I'm not quite there yet, but I'm heading there. They just want to give. Like we as humans, honestly, most humans, all they want to do is give, right? But they get so confined in conditioning and victim mentality and negative and everything that they can't do that, right? So when you get to a point where you are on the other side, I'll say, you just want to give. And so people come to me all the time and ask me questions and ask me, how do you do this? Or what would you recommend for this? And I'll take 5-10 minutes and answer their questions. Like I'll do that because I just want to give and I want to see people succeed and get to where and feel the abundance that I'm at, right? I just
Yep.
want everybody to feel that. And so, yeah, they definitely will give and help for sure.
Well, and here's the last question here is the abundance. And for me, for anyone that's listening, especially that's in the normal everyday, we'll say victim mindset is how we highlight
Mhm.
it. What she's talking about is the abundance mindset, where it's like we're very happy with what we have, not the mediocrity side, but we're very blessed, or we're very thankful or grateful, or whatever you want to put in there. And we want everyone to come up with us
Yep.
versus how we were probably, like both of us, because obviously we both went through a nasty past. It was poor me, poor you, poor the doctors, poor the world, poor this. And yeah,
Everything in
explain a
between.
little bit into that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd get in that. Yeah, definitely. You explained it perfectly. Like just victim mentality. Everything happens to me. Why is this happening to me? Poor me, all the things. Right. When really it's not even, that's not it at all. Like it's not it. Everything is always happening for you. It's always happening for you. And if you have that mindset of this is happening for me, it's either to teach me a lesson, it's either to have me teach somebody else a lesson, it's either from a stepping stone for me to go higher, whatever it may be, it's always happening for you. So how do you react to it? Right? How are you going to react to it? Are you going to sit there and say, okay, poor me, like, oh my gosh, why is this always happening to me? Or like, hey, wow, that was a really great lesson. Like, I can learn from that. And you know what? I'm not going to do that again. Right? Like, you can learn from everything that comes at you and comes your way. And it just makes you that much stronger. It makes you that, pushes you that much further into where you want to be. And I always talk about being in conditioned self or being an authentic self. I like to talk about that because most people live in their conditioned self all day, right? It's just kind of robotic. I call it robotic. Like they do the daily things every day and it's all the same, blah, blah, blah. But really, it should be flip flop. We should be living in our authentic self every single day. And we aren't doing that. And so, what do we have to do? What are the things we have to do to get to that place? And sometimes it's literally just fixing your health. That's literally all I did, you guys. Like, I literally just fixed my health and I own 4 CBD retail stores. I have a multi-million-dollar real estate business. I just opened up a holistic wellness center. Like I'm starting coaching now. Like I'm doing all the things. Like that's all it took was me just fixing my health, fixing my base, right? What happens when you build a house without a foundation,
It gets knocked out.
right? It's not going to stand up, right?
No,
So
no.
your health is so important. And I come across even successful entrepreneurs, but just everybody in general who don't take their health seriously. And I don't understand why. Like, why? I don't get it.
I mean,
Doesn't
and
make sense.
yeah, I mean, I have a, I'm just gonna go through like not all of it, but I have like 6 different things of vitamins there. I got reds, greens, whatever. Like,
Mhm.
I just, I know what it makes me feel good.
Yep.
And obviously, yes, now I'm kind of in this intermediate fast and kind of in and out of it stage lately. But um that's it's if I'm and I'm gonna use this for example. So like I take sugar beet. I love it for
Mhm.
what it does for me.
Mhm.
Um when I'm off it, I get foggy. So there must be something in there that my body wants. I mean, that's the common sense side of it.
Yep.
So for me, it's whatever, like you said before, anything that's in my body that makes me feel great, non, bad, it's
Mhm.
going to get pushed.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
I mean, they don't make it very easy, unfortunately. I mean, the health system is not really set up to keep you healthy. It's honestly set up to keep you a customer. I mean, that's just the easiest way to put it. And so it's not easy. So I'm not saying that this is something that comes naturally, because it doesn't. You have to literally just understand, like, and just look at it and be like, oh my gosh, okay, there's another way. And then just start educating yourself. That's really the key, is just education and understanding, because our world is very toxic. It just is. And our food quality is crap. And there's just so many things wrong, right? Our air quality is bad. The water is really bad. So you have to, like, be intentional with your health. I am so intentional. Like, it is crazy. Like, we drive 2 hours once a month just to get water from a spring. I won't drink any water, not even well water. I won't even drink it. I get it naturally from a fresh spring. Okay. So, like, we're so intentional with our health, and you have to be today, because it's so hard, to not be. So,
yeah, and especially here in the upper Midwest and in Wisconsin, we could say it this way, but like the arsenic's huge. Like the metals are just extremely huge just because the water tables drop. And obviously we have a lot of ledge rock underneath us. And I'm in Oshkosh, but on the opposite side of the lake, the same thing. It's the ledge rock that kind of runs all the way up to Door County.
yeah.
And there's a lot of rock that gets blown out, and there's a lot of arsenic that's hidden underneath it, which is toxic metal technically. So what people don't realize is that is in our system every day, not including what the cities dump in every day and whatever. And I'm not going to get too far into the plastic bottles and stuff, but just in general, like we're getting whacked from all ends.
We are. And the thing is, though, is most of the stuff, other than our air, because we can't control that, but most of the things you can control. Like, you shop in the shopping store, right? In the grocery store, you pick up food and put it in your cart. So you are in control of what you put in your cart, right? You can find better quality food than what's on most of the grocery shelves. I would not eat 98% of what's on the shelves today. I wouldn't eat it. Okay. We intentionally go to an organic market that has only organic products and things, right? We're super intentional, right? But you choose. I choose to do that. I can make that choice. So if you can handle some of the things that we have going on. You can handle some of the toxins if you are continuously dumping out your cup, right? If you are continuously dumping it out, and your body can function and your lymph system is working and everything can process correctly, right? You can do the things. But when it's overloaded and you're not dumping your cup, can't do it.
Exactly. And I was going to say it this way. So where can all the listeners, especially, locally or nationally or even worldwide, depends on where it is, where can they go find all your phenomenal information?
Yeah. So, well, I'm on, social media, Facebook, Instagram, the Ashley Lang, at the Ashley Lang, and then also our website. It is buckandashley.com.
Awesome. And guys, pay attention if you have any questions on holistic treatment, especially I had it in my past with a few other things, especially allergies and stuff here. It's life-changing stuff. If you've been through it before, everyone that's been through it highly recommends it. If you haven't been through it before, go see someone. And if it's
Yes.
you or whoever it is that's near you, go see someone because it is definitely life-changing stuff.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
So thank you very much. Like I said, I will be seeing you in the circle here pretty quick. One of the stops, we'll say it that way. So thank you very much for coming on the podcast here.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.